Hi, Guido Fox here. Welkom bij een nieuw book report. Today I want to talk about this book, the book of Carl Jung, his first episode, psychology, practical psychology. And I want to start with you with a series of 4 books of Jung. I like Jung. I want to discuss also Jung with you because of my coaching practical stuff, right? I think it's very interesting to know something about psychology and go deeper in it, and also for the one-to-one coaching to scale up the qualities of my clients, the personal development, and I think it's very logical to go to Jung because Jung was one of the most famous and best psychology guys what the world has known. We know Freud and Jung, that are the 2 guys who are very interesting to read from. So this is the first book, first book of 4 books I read, and you have also 10 books about Jung, and they put all the information in this series, and that makes it very interesting. So I want to discuss only 4 books about the series of 12 books, because the rest is, I think, more sub knowledge from the first 4 books. The first 4 books of Jung is big information, and the rest is more specific because I have also other things to do. So 4 books of Jung, I think that's enough to discuss more deeper levels of psychology. And also I want to make here the link to spirituality and deeper spiritual psychology, interesting topics. I also want to discuss in this book report some details about coaching and the process of coaching. So also coaches, I think it's very interesting to watch this video about how to coach and what the effects of coaching have, and also the negative effects of coaching. What you have to aware as a coach, what the negative aspects of coaching can be to support your client better. Because Jung was actually a coach. He support people one-to-one and in their lives to solve their depressions, career crashes, and dream analysis, and also their horrible past traumatic events. So Jung was also a coach, so I can learn as a coach also from this guy. So the first book of the first series, Jung, nearly 300 pages of psychological information. And the first topic I want to discuss with you, and that's within the coach frame, the coach client frame, and that is that it is very good to have a conversation and coaching conversation with each other, because coaching is a dialectical process. A dialectical process. That is the core essence term here. That coaching is a dialectical process. It is not only from the coach to the coachee, it is also the information from the coachee to the coach, and those information streams, and that's not only knowledge but also the body language. That's also the way you move, the way you talk, the way you watch your eyes, how you watch out of your eyes, the more physical stuff, and your whole energy being in what spiritual calibration level you're in. All those information streams are mixed together, and that mixed together will be explosion of energy and has a result in a clash of opinions and soft clash of opinions. I don't want to have a fight here in my coaching studio between coachee and coachee. And it will be a softly mixed clash of opinions or different perspective of things. I make you awake, I make you sharp, and within that clash there comes a new energy involvement, and there the coachee and the coach will have benefits from that interaction. So, what you see nowadays is that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I don't want to go to a coach. I know my life is perfect and I'm still depressive and I have still a shitty job and I don't need a coach because I don't need it." Right? It hurts your ego, right? You have to step out of your ego mechanisms to go to a coach. But if the process is there, it will be very, very beneficial for you. Even your life is a 7, you can be go to a 9. And maybe you're in a reality that you don't know that you can go to a 9, right? If your world is very small and your mentally conditioning is very small and you're a very small social circle and you don't read a lot of books and you don't have a lot of friends and you're okay and happy with your life, sometimes you're in a small circle and you don't know the point where it is here. So also a coach can make you aware that you're in a kind of matrix level, in a kind of mind matrix level, and that you can step out of that small circle of happiness. There is a bigger circle of happiness possible where you're not aware from it. So also that clash of perspectives between a high calibrated spiritual guy coach, you got benefits from that, right? And that was also in my life, right? I was very unhappy and I wanted to become more happier. And I searched for coaches and for influencers who were higher than me, and I can learn from that. Um, where I am now, on which stage I am now as a coach. So it's a dialectical process between coachee and coachee. So it is not a dominant one way, what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, there's some coach and he's telling what I have to do and I have to listen to him because otherwise he becomes angry. No, no, no. That's not the point. That's not the issue. That's not how I work, and that's not how coaches should work. So it's a dialectical process. We influence each other to become a better person and a more healthier, balanced person in your wonderful life. What you get from the universum, right? The universum were giving you this wonderful life, and you have to make it from it, right? It's your life. You have to make it something out of it. But we have to aware in this dialectical process that there can be also be destructive transmissions between coachee and coach. And one of them is that the clinching, and that is very interesting topic, is that the coachee can clinch to the coach. So the coach is on a higher spiritual level than the coachee, and the coachee is clinching on them and want to grab the coach and see, oh, he is the holy God in this dynamic, and I have to listen always to them, and he is my teacher. And the coachee is never and never growing up in his life, so he never become an individual. And that is what you see a lot of times in coaching dynamics between the client and the coach, is that the coach always want to have the client on a lower level to impress him with his self secure attitude, and that he actually likes when the client stays down, because then the coach has control and the coach, he cannot really grow, and he's clinching on them, and the coach is feeling himself so unbelievable self-secure. I'm the self-secure guy, and that is what Jung is talking on page 101. That is destructive for the client. So give your client also a lot of space, a lot of questions to think about, not the dominant coach perspective or conditioning, but also give the coachee a lot of space to grow and also support him to become an individual and avoid the the clinching mechanism. So that is a transmission between coach and coachee, what you want to avoid. I want to couple this to crowd psychology. Jung was an individual, like all the philosophers, and me too. I'm also an individual. I was out of society, out of the small social circles, and become an individual, and know that it is very, very good to step out for your health, for your mental health, for your happiness, because the crowd, the whole crowd, is operating on a conscious level between 0 and 200, and it's nearly never going out of the 200 border until 6, 7, 800 conscious level. So you never will grow in happiness if you never step out of society, if you never become an individual, if you always stay with people with lower consciousness levels, you never raise up, because the energy fields of the people will drag you down. So that principle Jung was understanding very, very well. So you have to find a solution for yourself to go for yourself and be also alone for a long time. People in masses always go to crowd psychology. So what you see standing in a cafe with each other, so many crowding events. So people going in scenes of panic into groups, right? To say, oh, I have friends, I want to have friends. I want to show the environment as our friends, and go into a group, right? It feels good to be in a big group, to go into the crowd, and you don't feel so lonely anymore. So there's a lot of reasons why, destructive reasons why people are going into crowd mechanisms. And what he's saying is very interesting. The crowd always going into these mechanisms from blind panic. And that is what you also saw in the Corona madness, that the facts are saying, okay, this virus is not so worse, and people are in blind panic, right? So that's really crowd psychology. So that is what I saw when I became an individual and meditate a lot and become sharp and clear what's going on here. I think, why is that everyone is panic? I see the facts of this fire. It's not so worse, right? Why is everyone in so blind panic? And from that point, I was understanding the crowd psychology, and that leads also, if you read page 12 of Jung, that leads to brutality and hysterical sentimentalism. So you go emotional in the overdrive and also have brutality reactions, and that's what you saw also in the corona. If you not have your mouth mask, people were shouting to you. They were running in the supermarket, what I can remember of that time, full with scarce eyes, and can have brutality actions by to pick the food in the supermarket, run away, and wants to hurry up and be brutal to the guys and girls who worked in the supermarket to be faster and work harder because someone wants to go out of supermarket because he was afraid to be infected by the virus. So crowd psychology and being constantly in the crowd areas leads to blind panic, brutality, and hysterical sentimentalism. So you're going deeply in your emotional state and not in the sharp, clear, and rational attitude. And that's where you want to go. And that is also for the client very interesting to go with his own legs, to become an individual, to move with his own legs, step out of crowd psychology, and be alone, be an individual. And now we're going deeper in the projections. And I talk a little bit with you about transmissions of destructiveness from coach to coachee, an independent relationship, and also step out of crowd psychology. Now we're going into the projections of Jung. And that's also a core essence term in his work, is the projections. And you project always a father image view from your youth, right? You had a father, and your father was everything for you. He was the great hero. He was the Superman. Your father was an accountant or a shoemaker, and you want to be a shoemaker and an accountant too, right? So your father image is your projection in life. What happened is that people who are not can step out the father projection will never become on higher spiritual levels, will never become so incredible happy with her or himself. So your projections, your father projections, will disturb your individual process. And your individual process is also a Jung term to become an individual. So be aware of the father projection from your youth. Okay, I have to listen to my father because he is the one. He studied a lot. He knows everything. And you have to be aware of that projection. I don't say don't listen never to your father anymore. I talk here about balance, right? Balance. So what happened if the father projection falls down? Then there becomes a vacuum, an empty space. What happened by the most people is that you go to the father image, God, religion, Allah, God, Krishna, whatever, Buddha, what kind of statue, image, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Indian. So you go from the one projection to another projection, what can be very destructive for your life. You change your father image, your destructive father image, with a new, clinchy image. The God. God is in heaven. He is a father for me. Everything what he was writing down in the Bible, the Torah or the Quran, I have to follow it. Rule by rule, I read the Bible and I follow everything because I want to please my Father, my Holy Father. So your false projection, your destructive projection, you transfer that to a religion, false father archetype. Remember the word archetype. I come later back on that, maybe in the next series. In that vacuum, what you create, if you say goodbye to your father figure, will be filled with the religion father figure. There's also another destructive father figure, and that is the state. The state will carry for you communism, Nazism, democracy, with all the supportiveness, all the subsidized things, if you're poor, all the benefits of the state. The state is my father. The state is caring for me always. The politicians are my heroes. They will carry for me. I have to do nothing. I can be lazy. I don't have to become an individual because the state is scary for me. If everyone thinks that way, of course the state will be bigger and bigger and bigger, have more power, more influence, and we will be all slaves. We will be slaves of the system. We will become lazy slaves. Because we never have to look within ourselves. So Father, God, and I talk God here not about godliness, about chakra openings, but I talk here God as a father figure. So God, your real father, and the state can be a blockade for your growth, for your happiness. you actually don't like an empty space. You're afraid for the dark hole. You're afraid for looking in yourself, looking in your own distractions. You're afraid for emptiness. So, religions, in their group forming attitudes, power institutions like the state, the family, religion, and the state were holding you down in your happiness and in your growth. So be aware of that projections and learn from the state, learn from your parents, learn from religion. That's okay. Balance here, right? But be aware to not clinch on them, not be dependent on the state. Try to not be dependent on group institutions. But mostly they're crowds and they're not good for you. I want to discuss with you another interesting part, and that is on page 184. And that's about the partly souls. Other subject, I believe in reincarnation. So you have old souls, middle souls, new souls. Some people have very old souls. They're coming back 12 times. And what interesting here is what Jung was saying, that people have 5 split personalities in one body or mind. So you're thinking that you are one person, but you aren't. You have 5 personalities in one body and mind. And those 5 personalities are shifting from time to time. They're separated personalities, and they change and they influence each other and they are in conflict with each other. So they have all kind of autonomy. They're have some substance. They have right to exist. So therefore, your mind is a lot of times in conflict about choices you make in life, what I should do now with your time, or how I should react on this person, what should I have to do on holiday, which holiday, whatever, right? So, and your 4 to 5 different personalities are the reason for these conflicts. And these personalities can be building up in this life, but are also influenced by your past souls. So they bring information from the past into the now. Partly souls mechanism. If you're going higher in your consciousness level, you learn to be peaceful and to create love between those different personality types. And I don't talk here about social conform behavior. That you are acting different in different situations. That is social adaptable behavior. So you suppress some part of your personality because it is not convenient here. You are acting different because of there are different kind of type of person somewhere. That's not what I'm saying. It is really deep DNA split personalities. And that's something interesting in psychology. Because that is the cause why people are feeling so empty and people are feeling so much in conflict with each other because of these different partly souls. And what meditation is doing and what chakra activations are doing and the 7 centers are doing is to make love between those different personalities in yourself. They work better together. They are at ease with each other. Those 5 personalities are making love in my body. They have wonderful sexual intimacy in my body. So those 4 and 5 types are relaxed and balanced in my personality. And they work amazingly together. They're a machine. So if you are in conflict with the outside world, you are actually a lot of times in conflict with yourself and with the 4 and 5 personalities in your energetic system. The outside world is a reaction of your inner peace. So be aware of that mechanism. And they did research of it, so it is true. There are the facts. We have different personality types in our system. Thank you for watching this interesting partly 1 of 4 psychological knowledge about Jung, about the coachee dynamics, about crowd psychological aspects, about the projections, what you can have, and about the 5 personalities in your system. Thank you for watching, and I see you the next time. Hi.